format-wise, this is great. Like, I want to see this show. I just don't want to see this show.
Yes.
And maybe it'll get better.
But on a positive note, Candy and Todd are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. And how crazy, y'all. All the years that we have talked about Real Housewives of Atlanta, congratulations to Candy and Todd. Okay?
Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Period. But in some news of Housewives, a girls trip, Ultimate Girls Trip producer came out to say that, you know, because we aren't getting the Ultimate Girls Trip, which we should. You guys edit everything else down to the bones. So
can we start a petition, please? I need this to come out.
Period. But one of the producers,
such a good cast too. Alex McCord was. I mean, Kelsey.
I was so ready for Alex McCord.
Yeah, I'm devastated.
But one of the producers came out and said that Brandy didn't assault Carolyn. She just disrespected her. And I mean, I think when this whole thing first came out, when me and Courtney were talking about it, I think we kind of were like, Carolyn's older. And again, the age difference, the types of personalities, I don't think Carolyn was a good fit for a trip like something like this. Maybe put her with Ramona or something like, and Sonya, I don't even know. That might not actually work out good either. But yes, I definitely think, I feel like we should get this. I feel ripped off now that all we have right now is Potomac Housewives and we're starving for something because, I mean, and what are we going to be fed? Real Housewives of Dubai?
Hey,
what's wrong with that show?
I love Caroline Stansberry, darling.
Okay.
There's a couple cast members that are all right, Jesse.
No, I don't mind Dubai, but Dubai is, we just got done. Potomac didn't give us anything this season.
I mean, they're trying with their reunion.
They're trying with the reunion.
And everybody quitting right after.
The first season of Dubai, it was entertaining, but it wasn't giving me what New York gave me, the new season of New York. I feel like we got all the ups and downs, and it gave
Shout out to New York, all of them coming back. Praise the Lord.
Yes, and we get hopefully we're gonna find out some new faces too. So all that to say, I just feel like I'm Vanderpumped out, and we're gonna get right into that too because this Vanderpump Villa.
Oh no, you didn't. Did you watch it?
I did, and I'm mad I watched it because.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing with Vanderpump Rules, right? I've said this season of Vanderpump is interesting, I think, discussion-wise, because, like, again, if I was Ariana, how would I feel? If I was Tom, I would never be Tom. But how would I feel? If I was a friend of, how would I feel? I think that, to me, is the most intriguing part of Vanderpump Rules, right? But this season isn't holding me like obviously last season was, which makes sense. And I think for me that is because I didn't watch Vanderpump from the beginning. So I don't have attachments to this cast and crew in the same way that a lot of people do. I watched all of Vanderpump, yes, from the beginning. I watched all of it last year to catch up to where this drama was so that I could go to Courtney's house and we was going to watch it together. So I think that's my thing with Vanderpump Rules. So now with Vanderpump Villa, I was like, okay, this is cute. I love the French chateau and all this stuff. It's beautiful. And here's a way for me to
unmatched.
to hop onto a new show and feel like, okay, I can get on this train ride. This is the most forced. I believe all these people are actors. It does not give me anything of authenticity because just nothing about it. Nothing about it. I mean, what's the guy that was like screaming at everybody? Like, I'm just.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible. And I know I said I didn't want to color your like opinion of it when you asked me had I watched it yet. But it is literally so bad. It is like a bootleg version of Below Deck with Hannah. I think her name, the only two names I know are Hannah and Marciano, who used to date and whatever. And it's very clear they are trying so hard to be the Jax and Stassi of the show. the way that when Vanderpump Rules started, like Hannah's behavior is like she watched Stassi growing up for the last 10 years.
Yes.
And now like 26, like she's like, oh, I'm going to be Stassi on Vanderpump Villa. Like I'm that girl. I'm cute. I'm blonde. I'm going to cause unnecessary fights and yell at everybody and be just crazy. And then Marciano is a tragedy, whatever. And then Lisa Vanderpump pretending like I feel like I was watching the new version of Queer Eye for the straight guy, like when they have the like sit down moments with Karamo and they're like, oh, we're gonna like counsel you and talk about your life and your triggers. And like, it was just not, I was offended because it was such a mess. The only thing that I appreciated was I will always love Lisa Vanderpump's design aesthetic with all of the flowers and the luxury and the beauty and the whimsy. But like,
visually it's candy. It's candy visually, but
yeah. And so it's so disappointing, and I totally agree. Like, why don't we just hire some like super cool French people that speak English? Like, and it just like real people that aren't trying to act and like be. It was just.
You know what it gave me hope for though, Courtney? Our little Grease reality show.
Oh yes, honey. What was it called? Something club that we want, the Pareo that we want to like.
Let's not put it out there. We don't need no one taking it. Okay, we go.
I'd like to work in production for that show. I'd like to work in production for said show. Thank you very much. I don't need to be the face, but I want to be there. Jesse,
no, go ahead, Ronnie.
Jesse and Courtney. Listen, this is such a relief, and this episode entirely has been a whirlwind. Microphone don't work. We're talking about all the issues, but I'm going to tell you. I thought when I had gotten the note from Jesse what we're going to cover, I was like, oh, is it a good show? Because I tried to watch Vanderpump Villa 3 times episode 1. I finally accomplished it just a bit ago because I knew we were going to go live. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is a show that like Jesse likes. And it took me 3 times. I will say going into episode 2, it felt a little bit more like, okay, let's watch and see what's up. But there is such one of you alluded to this, there's such a let's ride the wave of what Vanderpump is. And you feel that on the Bravo show, The Valley. And I really feel the same as you all, which is format-wise, this is great. Like, I want to see this show. I just don't want to see this show.
Yes.
And maybe it'll get better. And I got to say, the only thing, because comparisons are going to happen, is that girl like Stassi? And is that guy the number one guy in the group? Like, you're going to feel similarities. But the show that I put it right up against, and I don't even know if everyone felt me on this because it only had 1 season, Lindsay Lohan's show was like, I watched that season. I liked the Lindsay Lohan show where they went to go work at her beach club. Now, it's not the exact same style.
No, I actually preferred the Lindsay Lohan one over this.
It's the only thing I could think about. Every time I saw something on Vanderpump Villa not go right, I'd been like, dang, could we do it more like Lindsay's show? And but yeah, even watching the trailers or this season on, it's still, as much as I hate it, I'm like, the format is good. Like, I want to see a show like this,
yes.
But hopefully some big tweaks could get involved. And yeah, everyone's going to have that pressure. It's producers, it's casting, it's the network, it's Lisa herself. Let's not let this wave go. But I'm so relieved, you guys, because I had a busy week, so I haven't really been on social media. So I thought people were loving the show. So I was like devastated. I was like, oh God, I got to say something nice about this train wreck. So good. We're all in agreement.
No,
yeah.
we keep it buck over here. We don't care.
Keep it all the way real, and we love reality TV and have been there since the start. And this is literally a overly produced attempt at recreating what was so organic about Vanderpump Rules, and it sucks.
Let me say this. Vanderpump Villa, although it has its own style, what it is trying to do is, again, let's give us another Jax, another Stassi. What really got that a little bit more, I gotta say, 2 seasons, Southern Hospitality, which was Leva's show from Southern Charm. That kind of has that feeling a little more, if that's what you're going for. But for the sake of the aesthetic and the candy of television, it's beautiful, but beautiful doesn't always make you want to come back and watch episode 4. I could barely do episode 1.
No,
so,
I would have preferred for them to have kept this show and left Pump and WeHo open. Okay, but you guys brought it up.
I'm sorry, no.
You said, well, yeah, no. Okay.
Sorry.
Last week I had Nicolette on, and It was interesting because she is loving the Valley, which again, I can't get into. I tried.
We gotta talk.
All right. So what do you think? Are you liking the Valley? Are you feeling it? Are you?
I dismissed it and counted them out after the first 2 episodes. I was like, nah, this is trash. I'm not into it. This last episode this week, I am now into it. Episode 3 brought me into it.
Okay. With new, was it the new cast of it? Because that's what Nicolette said. She isn't really loving the Jax storyline. She's more so loving the new people that are being introduced.
Well, what's funny is I didn't care. Well, Jax I don't care about anyway because I think Jax is like a trash human in general. I don't know him, obviously, but what he's shown on TV, I don't care, and I find Brittany annoying. So for me, even though Kristen Doty was taken off of television because of... Wait, she was initially taken off because Lisa fired her, and then she got canceled because of racial stuff that happened. She is still messy reality TV. So bringing Kristen Doty back had me interested, which is why I was even willing to watch it. And then initially it was like, okay, this is boring. I don't care about any of these people. Like none of the new people, didn't care, nothing. I was not vibing with any of them. I'm still not totally vibing because I don't even know their names. But I do know after this 3rd episode that there seems to be, and again, this is opinion, because there's like a therapy session with one of the couples. The woman that was basically Kristen Doty, like, did what she used to do on Vanderpump Rules. When she gets backed into a corner, she just like says some bullshit that makes no sense and it's wrong or whatever and like messes everything up for everybody. But in the end, there's a couple that the girl's pregnant. She has, I think he's maybe Asian or Filipino or something. He seems very nice and a good person. And they are entertaining to me in that episode. And then Kristen trying to deal with everybody is entertaining as heck in that episode. And then there's a realtor who's a man who I think is, because they had a therapy session. He had a therapy session with his wife. And they seem like they hate each other. And he seems like a very angry gay man. He seems like he ain't supposed to be married to a woman.
Oh.
And it's my opinion. But I feel like that energy underneath that is all kind of coming out. And I'm interested now in real lifeness because that therapy session was just like, ooh, why are y'all married? This is not cute. And you're on television. This is a horrible idea. And you have a small child. So all of that was working for me in this 3rd episode in terms of tragic reality TV that we probably shouldn't want to see. Like I'm not unaware that it's probably not something we should be like excited about, but like it's lighting up for me. But I had definitely written it off after the first 2 episodes. Like, this is horrible.
What about you, Ronnie?
Well, first of all, Bravo and NBC Universal need to get on the phone call with Courtney because the way she sold that show, I was like, no. And then she said this and that. I was like, oh, like I'm kind of going through all the mood swings. Yeah, I really feel exactly what I felt from the beginning. Decent premise, cool idea. I like generally what it is. I thought it was a little too much in the trailer of like, we're wacky now because we're like more mature. Like it was like, okay, slow down with that. You just is silly. And the only thing that I said from the very beginning is that yeah, Jax and Brittany are only needed to sort of cross the show over. That's really a one and done season is what it feels like. However, with Jax and especially with Courtney opening up my mind there, I feel like with Jax, the only reason he would be good is he is the type that's like willing to, impregnate somebody behind Brittany's back during season 1's run because he's that thirsty to make the show work type of deal.
Damn,
so
that's why he was on House of Villains.
Yeah. So yeah. And you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. But Jax is no longer appealing outside of his run at Vanderpump, and it wasn't really working at House of Villains. It's not really working at this show. I do wish for the success of his restaurant, but the only thing I could... Yeah.
Just that I agree, because he got a whole baby. He needs some success.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to like as the show goes, and if some of those revelations come out, like what Courtney said about the real estate guy, and if some of these things come out, or if Jax was canoodling with someone he shouldn't be canoodling with, like if those things are already planted in the storyline, maybe we could go into season 2 feeling more into it. But that whole it's wacky, we're grown-ups now, like is getting so tiring to see. Like you're still cool, it was. I mean, you're not 105 years old. Like let's go.
Yeah, and maybe I'll check out episode 3 and see what it gives. Because after those first 2 episodes, I was like, we gonna hang this head
Exactly.
up. So
It
I'll
was
check
trash.
out the 3rd episode. Another recommendation before we get into Potomac, you guys, is